Welcome back to another edition of the Saturday Night Live and Chill. This is number 2. It is July 6th, 6:02 Central. We've already got a couple people here. I'm actually waiting on Stay Winning Podcast and also Marc Oshiro, Financial Firefighter. So we'll see if they are able to join. But we got Rinks Rentals in the house here. We got BuzzTune here. Saturday Night Live and Chill. This is number 2. I know Paul's on the road here. So I'm curious, Paul, what have you been working on with some of your businesses? If you want to drop that in the chat, if you can. BuzzTune, what are you working on? What are you working on to generate some income? I'm interested to hear about that. But that's what this is about, right? You know, most of the people that I talk to on the lending side right now, and there's 3 categories of people that are making moves in the lending world, and this is just part of my job. Oh, we got somebody in the waiting room here. This is Stay Winning. All right, what's up?
Yo, what's up, man? How are you?
I think my volume might be down. All right, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little low. I'm not sure if it's me or if it's you.
Let's see. Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Yeah, I just turned my mic up.
Cool. All right, happy Saturday. How you doing?
Happy Saturday. Wonderful. How you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, my 4th of July was a lot of fun. Had the kiddos to my mother-in-law's pool and just hung out. Had a great day. Get some sunshine. Stay out of trouble. And I think you posted on an X that you were at a couple different places, Newport Beach and somewhere else.
Yeah, I was in Newport Beach and Huntington Beach.
Cool. All right, man. So here we are talking about income streams. And I was just talking about in the lending world, there's 3 kinds of people that are making moves right now, and there's really not much in between. I'm seeing first-time home buyers, real estate investors, and the third one is people that have to move because of a life event, divorce, death, something like that. And the real estate investors, the ones that are in a good place financially, they're able to be very selective to find a deal and be patient. First-time home buyers, I just had somebody that I closed on a loan a couple of weeks back, and they were renting in the DC market, and the rent was pretty high, and they were able to find a house, and the housing payment was going to be just a little bit lower than what their rent was. So for them, it made sense regardless of the market being high and rates being high, et cetera. But the biggest limiting factor that I see for people who want to buy a house is not having enough money saved. And that's the biggest piece of the puzzle for real estate, is having the money. There's no quick fixes. There's no easy button, even though you got a lot of people that talk about $0 in, whether it be fix and flips or sub 2, things like that. Having money put away, that's the great equalizer. And that's why I think it's so important to be talking about these things, generating income and all the different forms that are out there. Because once you have that skill set, it translates and makes everything else easier. So what have you been working on?
Oh, as far as multiple streams of income?
Just in general, in the last, say, week or 2.
In the last week, I've actually started creating my own Web3 VIP pass. I'm calling it the top tier credit card. Oh, I think I know what's up. I lost my voice over the holidays, so that's probably why you couldn't hear me earlier. And if I sound different, I hope it's only temporary, being that my voice is my job. So it's going to be 1,200 of them. It will gain you access to my Discord, and then it will also get you a whitelist spot or pre-sale spots for anything else I build on the blockchain. So there's going to be 1,200 of them. Going to be about $15 each. That should get you access to the Discord, it gets you access to me, and get you first-hand dibs on everything else I create in the Web3 space. So that's the main thing I was working on as far as Stay Winning podcast goes.
What did you
That's
call that?
basically
What did you call that? A digital what?
so it'll be a digital collectible or NFT, and there's going to be 1,200 of those, and it's going to be called the top tier card. So a lot of the inspiration of it comes from the black card, the Centurion card. So someone's working on the design and should be ready to go this coming week.
That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, it is a huge deal. That's step one of the other additional things I'm creating on the blockchain. But that first one is gonna test the market, kind of like bait, and see which bait works. But I think it's gonna do very well. It's priced reasonably well. So out of the 1,200, about 250 of those are gonna be free. So the other 950 are gonna go for sale for like $15. So it would show who my most loyal supporters are, and it will show who are my biggest supporters and who believe in me and my brand. And eventually I'll build that where I can lower down that entry level into real estate investing. So earlier in the call when I got on, you mentioned you're seeing a lot of real estate investors making moves in the real estate market. So I totally understand. The first time home buyer, it's the worst market in our generation for first time home buyers, maybe in all US history, as far as the entry level point. So a lot of the buyers you're seeing, at least in California, are here. 1/3 are cash buyers. Can you believe it? Cash buyers in California. We're talking like 1 million, $1.5 million deals in cash. Um, and then, as you mentioned, real estate investors are the other movers in this market. So eventually, this will launch into the main project, which is me lowering down that entry level of real estate investing across Southern California and maybe even across the nation.
So, kind of going back in time, you had done a flip, and how many flips have you done?
I have done 2 flips over the last year. So those were my first two.
Okay. Would you say that the numbers or the dollars ended up as you expected, worse, better going in?
A win is a win, man. So let me answer Inspired Landlords.
Yeah.
So this mic, I actually got this mic at Best Buy. You can get it at Best Buy if you don't want to get it online. It's a Samson Q9U. So it's both a USB mic and an XLR mic. So definitely a mic that will grow with you as you're trying to grow into your content creating career. And I think you like the way it sounds, hence the question. It's only about $100 or $140, somewhere in that. So fairly priced, especially because you get the USB or the XLR, depending on how you want to power it up. But with XLR, you get more of that radio rich voice. um, I kind of like the way it looks without. Let's see. Does it look better with that? Oh, I guess I kind of like this. Yeah, my bad. So what was the question?
Well,
Oh, my returns.
yeah. Well, the reason I even bring it up because I've done two flips and they've been disastrous, and there's a whole backstory behind that. But the landscape of California real estate going forward, I mean, I guess I'm just curious. That's my ultimate question: is what are you seeing going forward in the California market? Before we get to some of the comments.
Um, so I've been blessed that my 2 flips have been profitable, and both of them have been about a 25% return over a 5-month period. Um, I don't think there's anything I can do that will be that passive that will give me 5K a month returns the way I do it. So the market I flip in is LA County. LA County still has average properties that are below 1 million. So in Orange County, it's 1.5 million is the median property. In San Diego, it just crossed a million. In LA County, you're still looking at like 8 or 900K. So the opportunities for families, the entry level is still there, especially when you're looking at LA County, parts of the region that touch Orange County, where some of the better school districts are at, or even some parts of the Inland Empire. So I definitely stay away from downtown LA. In downtown LA, I mean, it's crazy. You can have $1 million home on the same block as a $500,000 home. Versus if you go to the outskirts of LA and go towards LA County, um, the neighborhood is pretty much the same. So your estimates as far as projection goes could be a little more accurate. So for those that don't know me and those that are new to following me, the way I do real estate flips is I'm just a capital. I send the wire of $100,000, and the only reason I go look at the property is for content purposes. If I want to be hands on, I can, but simply the most work I do is send the wire and then go see the property before and after for content purposes and just wait the 5 months to go ahead and collect that money back. So I'm hoping I can do more of those. I know eventually the entry level will get higher. So this the rest of this year and early next year will determine um, how high is too high of an entry level point within the market. So
Yeah.
if I'm looking to flip in Orange County where the median property is 1.5 million, I'm eliminating a huge amount of potential buyers versus if I go to LA County and I flip 5 to 600K properties at 8 to 900K instead. The
Yeah.
market for that, um, I'm getting a huge chunk of a market that's been priced out of Orange County. So I didn't know that you did too, but I'm sorry to hear that they didn't go well.
Yeah. Both both kind of went through the COVID phase of couldn't get contractors, like couldn't get people to follow through.
Yeah.
And my wife was pregnant, and then we had twins, and so like 19 into 20, it
Twins.
was the worst time. I shouldn't have done it. It was just a bad choice. Um, I didn't have the time to micromanage the project, and at the end of the day, I think the first one broke even, the second one lost money, but I probably wouldn't do it again unless I found a killer deal. It just is what it is. You
And
learn.
what state was this in?
This was in St. Louis,
Okay.
Missouri. Yeah.
What's the starting point of those?
Um, this was like right around 400,000,
Oh, wow.
400,000 entry, and then we sold them, in the mid sixes.
Is St. Louis in Greene County? Or what's the big city in Greene County, Missouri?
Well, St. Louis is in St. Louis County.
Okay.
So Greene County, I'm not sure what that is or where that is.
Okay.
You might be thinking of, um, I don't even know. I don't even know.
Whatever the next two, three big cities are.
Yeah, there's Kansas City, and I guess Springfield, maybe.
There you go. Springfield.
Oh,
Springfield in Greene County. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
okay. I didn't even know that there was a Greene County. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah,
But
the reason I asked is because that's where I've been potentially looking at short-term rentals.
yeah,
They're definitely adding a lot of commercial real estate, which is bringing up the values of properties,
yeah,
and they're a little more short-term rental friendly than something in Anaheim, California, for example.
yeah, yeah. There's been a lot of investment down that way because you got Lake of the Ozarks, you have Table Rock. There's a lot of golf courses. Tiger Woods has a golf course there. There's been a lot of development down in that area, down into northern Arkansas as well. So, uh, Rinks Rentals, leaving for vacay, wholesaling 2 deals, and just closed on the first sub 2 deal. That's awesome, man. Restructuring their debt, get another 40 plus in back taxes. Yep. And then Inspire Landlord. I want to get him on here and bring him in. I'm actually going to be interviewing him soon. He's got a side business doing copywriting, and I wanted to just bring him on and just chat with him for a few minutes. He has to jump off at the half hour. So, um, Inspire Landlord, if you want to jump in real quick on that link I sent you, come on in. And Paul, if you do want to jump in too, let me know. I wouldn't mind hearing about that sub 2 deal. If you do, let me know, and I can send you a link later. Old guy REI, hey guys, HRA winners. That's right. winners. BuzzTune, what are you working on? If you're still out there.
Man, I had a great coaching call with BuzzTune, and I look forward to what BuzzTune will make on X.
Anything you can share?
I'll share about X in general, man. X is the spot. So XTV is gonna come out, and it's gonna compete with YouTube TV. So a bunch of content on X will have pre-roll ads, which will just multiply the ad revenue for creators. It's the lowest entry as far as how to get paid. You know, in YouTube, you need 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 subscribers. On X, you just need the blue check mark and 500 followers. So I definitely like the direction where it's going. Um, and then they'll have the option to tip you. So like right now, if you have 500 subscribers on YouTube and 3,000 watch hours, people can start tipping you. And again, on X, once that becomes available later this year, that entry level will be so much lower where people can start tipping you. I mean, it's going to be insane. So
All right.
BuzzTune is jumping in at the right time.
Okay.
And I hope BuzzTune capitalizes on our talk right there.
That's awesome. I want to dig into that too at some point later.
Yeah, especially in the name of multiple streams of income.
That's right. All right, we got a new guest on, Inspired Landlord. Good to meet you. How you doing?
Good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yo, what's up?
I
I
know.
can hear you.
All right, great. I know I don't have the quite the setup as you guys, but I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, well, thanks for taking some time to jump in, and I can't wait to be able to dig into our future conversation on some of the things that you've done to generate extra income along the way. If you could, want to give us a little bit of a backstory on the copywriting and all that stuff and what you've done.
Yeah, sure. So, I got a 9 to 5. It's more like a 2:30 to 11:45 at night, and I took on like a manager role about 7 years ago. So I work at a local news station in the Boston market, and when I took on that manager role, I got away from producing, which is writing and putting stuff together. I got away from the creative side, and instead just kind of manage people and personality. So I missed that, and I'm like, I gotta play to my strengths here, which is something I enjoy doing, just writing. So that's my creative outlet, and it turns out back in 2018 there was a Facebook ads course when those were exploding, and I, threw a few $100 at that, and learned a lot there. Got a few clients, local companies here up in Massachusetts, and one of them was an eye doctor, and I got him some results. He's like, hey, and he's like, Mike, what else can you do? I'm like, well, I like to write, like to share stories, and I started writing emails for him. He's got like 23,000 patients that we send 2 or 3 emails per month to his patients, and the only call to action is schedule your appointment here. And every time we send an email, we're getting 20, 30, 40 people to click on that link. So he pays me $150 a pop, and it takes me about 45 minutes to do. It's something I do. I've got 2 little kiddos, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, so I'm able to put them to sleep around their bedtime, and I go hop in my favorite chair and bang them out then. So it's a good side hustle for me. It's perfect, and I enjoy doing it, and he gets a ton of value, and it's my creative outlet fulfilled. So I've been doing that since 2018, and turns out he is a huge real estate investor. He encouraged me to buy my first one, and he is so darn humble. Like it took him, we've known each other for 6 years, and it took him up until like 3, 4, 5 months ago. I finally asked him, I'm like, hey, how many doors do you have? I'm just curious because you're mentioning properties everywhere. He's like, oh, I've got 52. I was like, excuse me? He's just so humble. Like you wouldn't, I thought he might say, 8, 9, 10, 52, and they're all spread out, and he's got partners and everything. So, it's much more than my 3 doors, but it's just, it's an awesome relationship. And I'm so, he's a mentor, friend, and I'm just glad that we can kind of provide value for one another. So that's one side hustle. The Facebook ads course led to another one. I started doing ads for a realtor, and she's like, hey, you should get your real estate license. And that was back in 2019. So I'm like, you know what? My wife was pregnant with our first child at the time. She was working part-time. She's like, Mike, I got to do something. I'm going nuts. So we took the 40 hours of courses and studied our butts off. We both got our license. We've been licensed since Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So there's a little extra incentive when we do land a property. We're able to represent ourselves and not pay somebody else a commission. We're able to take that money and use it for repairs or upgrades or something like that. So those are the two main things. We don't do too much with side hustle with our realtor's license, just 1 or 2 deals a year, to be honest. Those are kind of the main two things. And then I'll do a little bit of coaching here and there as well. So that's really how that started. And then when we do the podcast later, Joel, I can get more into a framework for you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
What would you say is the biggest tip or tactic that you learned from some of the Facebook course or some of the other courses that you took to be able to do those things?
Yeah, pain points and empathy. So when you're writing, you want that reader, whoever the heck is reading, to feel the pain, but tastefully. You want them to be able to relate to that struggle that they're having. Whether it's, so I can take the vision example. If you find yourself squinting, or if you can't see something 10, 20 feet away from you, you're not alone type thing. So you kind of draw parallels to that. But trying to find the pain point and having empathy, kind of blending those two together, can create sales single-handedly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see people on X, they're copywriting courses and they're copywriting platforms and all that stuff. Obviously it makes a difference for businesses.
It really does. Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that are out there pushing their stuff. So
yeah,
it's not easy, but at the end of the day, it's doable. And
correct.
What stay winning, Hugo? I mean, with your stuff that you put out there, what are some of the things that you intentionally do to be able to provide that hook or that capturing the attention of your audience? What are some of the things that you focus on or do with your content, whether it be IG or YouTube?
Man, on IG, I try to make sure my B-roll has at least some girl in it. Usually it does better when that's the case. On X, I try to see what's trending and then tie it into whatever my post is going to be, whether it's business or finance or crypto. So like today, if Sydney Sweeney was trending, then I would be like, hey, is there a Sydney Sweeney meme coin?
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to invest in it or anything, but it's just, hey, that's what's trending. So I definitely do understand that entertainment goes a lot further than just education. So I definitely try to add the entertainment aspect of it as much as I can. But man, if you have any girls in the content, that helps tremendously. So I hope to incorporate more girls into my content going forward.
Okay.
Especially now that my snack energy case arrived, so I can use that as a prop in my videos, and see how that goes, and take advantage of the summer and the beach, and tie it into crypto or real estate, which I've been kind of doing, helping someone else rip crypto out there. I've been out there filming, and we've been doing that. So now we're gonna transition that into my channel as well.
So can you bring one of your vending machines to the beach and like have some female in a bikini like stocking it in the moment?
No, but I think it'll be easy for them to be in front of the machine for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking at your IG right now. I'm not seeing any girls.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's it's mostly just B-roll footage. But yeah, the next podcast episode I have, actually there'll be a girl on the cover. So I think I already teased a couple pics out there. If you can see on my X, people were really, really excited about it.
Okay. All right. So I know, Mike, you got to get off here in a second. So, I guess the most important question for you: what advice would you give to somebody if they're investing in real estate in Boston? Are you in Boston or Massachusetts? Where are you at in Massachusetts?
I'm in like the southeastern part of the state, so closer to Providence, kind of on the Rhode Island line, kind of where it hooks down. I mean, it's expensive. There was study that just went out last week saying Massachusetts, you need the most money to live here than any other state in the world, or any other state in the country rather. I took a class with Aaron, and I know Mark's in that as well, the Remote Real Estate Academy. I am considering remote real estate investing, to be honest, because it is so darn expensive here. With that said, we do own one property here in our city, and then we own one in Rhode Island. Because with the bigger price tags come the bigger rents as well. So it is kind of relative in that aspect. But for someone who's just starting out, I would say just start. So I just binge listened to a bunch of podcasts, and I took that and I became obsessed with it back in 2022. And I listened for about maybe 6 months, and it just got to a point where I'm like, the only thing now that I can really do is just take action, just get your first property and get your hands dirty. And I want to self-manage for now, just so I can learn the ropes. And maybe when I get a few more, I'll consider a property manager. But right now I like having my hands in it just so I can make those mistakes, try to limit them obviously, but just get the experience. But my advice is to learn as much as you can, but then actually take action. Don't just fall into that analysis paralysis part, because you'll never actually do it. So if you want to make a change, you're the only person that's going to be able to do that, and you need to get your hands dirty.
What was the price point of the first property that you purchased?
So the first property, my wife and I wanted to kind of dip our toes in it. So it's a 2-family, but we only own one side of it. So it's 2 condos, no association dues, which is nice. So we got that for $270. It was originally listed for $359. And I just kind of watched the price fall over like 2 months. And then we did an all cash offer using a HELOC and some of our own cash. And we were able to, I think the ask price when we finally made the offer was $300, and they took $270. And I used a little bit of timing and psychology for that, because he had just sold the other side or got it under agreement like a week before that. So the realtor told me that this guy wants to sell both. And when that side went, and it was a little nicer, an extra bedroom. When that side went, I knew that was my chance to stick the dagger in. So I made the offer, and he bid. So $270 on that.
Congrats, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a HELOC, right? I mean, that's a tool that has I think some negative connotations, especially recently with rates going up. I mean,
For sure.
prime was at 3.25 for so long, and now prime's at, I guess, 8.5. And so
yeah. So when we first got the HELOC, Joel, it was 5.5% back in 2022, and now it's up to 7.99. So our cash flow took a $250 a month hit on that, just that alone. It's a tool, but it's a use at your own risk. And because it cash flows so nicely at the price that we got it at and what we get for rent, we're still comfortable with it. But we're not going to have the HELOC forever. With that said, so
yeah,
it got us in the game though, so we did it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. You mentioned being able to pay cash, and in years previous, being able to come to the table with cash was a much bigger bargaining chip to be able to get the price that you may be able to get below asking. And in this day and age, there's so much cash out there; it's dime a dozen these days. So it doesn't have the same oomph.
And I say cash. Obviously, it's cash to the seller, not to me.
Yeah.
I have to pay that back, but yeah, it acts like cash on the transaction.
Yeah, I mean, because I've got some people that have purchased properties in the last 5-6 years. The equity has gone up, and they've used it to just outright buy investment properties.
Yeah,
and, it's a tool. So
it's a powerful one.
Yeah,
but it is risky at times. So do your due diligence.
For sure. And I think you got to jump off here. So, any other last thoughts? Celtics winning the championship.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, we had to cover the parade there. I'm getting sick of covering parades at this news station here in Titletown, but no, it was fun. They got a good squad. We'll see how they do, and I think they're built for the future, for at least the next 4 or 5 years with what they got. I saw a Facebook post. It was Tatum on the top, 300 and what do you get? 315, I think, for a few years, and then Tom Brady on the bottom was like 319 million for 23 years. And it's just like basketball money compared to football money is just insane. But I thought that was funny.
Yeah, quite the perspective there. That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I follow both of you very closely and learn a lot from both of you. So I appreciate you guys.
Hey, appreciate you. Look forward to chatting some more. Good luck today.
All right. Take care,
All right,
guys.
have a
Thank
good
you.
evening. Take care.
All right. Bye bye.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah, so many good things going on with him. That's awesome. Congratulations. Glad he could stop by and say what's up.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Titletown, it's a sore subject for people in St. Louis. Sore subject. 2001, Rams lost to the Patriots. 2004, Cardinals lost to the Red Sox, got swept, I think. And then also 2013 lost to the Red Sox again. So yeah, it's a sore subject in St. Louis. But BuzzTune stabilizing the second property, working on stabilizing the first, and then looking at duplexes after. Very cool. Very cool. So went out with financial firefighter and another guy yesterday. Spent $89. Okay, because I know the last time Mark went out, he missed picking up somebody, also known as his son. He got a little wasted. I don't know. How did he do? How was he, BuzzTune? All right. Old guy REI. What are you up to? What are you up to? What are you working on? Are you there, Hugo? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So I want to come back to the blockchain NFT stuff. So you use the word credit card, I think, and then also used NFT and Web3 digital collectible. I don't really get these. I'm not that fully aware of these terms. So what does it actually mean?
So, if you use the words digital collectible, then you get the SEC off your back because then it's not considered an investment.
Okay.
So, so an NFT, a non-fungible token, would be a digital collectible in this situation. Web3, another term, it's just blockchain. Yeah. So we had Web 2.0, which we're currently on now, or at least the mainstream is. And earlier in the 90s, you had Web 1.0, HTML5, if that rings a bell from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now we're on Web 3, which is all the blockchain stuff. And I think the use of that is inevitable. I think it's definitely going to go mainstream. I think we're very, very early to it. What were the other terms?
You used the word top tier card.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling it. So just building on I've noticed that it's easier to market items that have the same initials. So if you look at adult film stars, for example, they're going to have the same initial last name and the same initial first name most of the time. It's just markets better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I called it top tier because I think winner circle was it's been used too much. And even though that's what my intention is with this digital collectible, I figured what's another cool name outside of winner circle that portrays that same image that I'm trying to portray. And top tier is what I asked Grok on X. It was very helpful, as in like give me other names or alternative names for winner circle, and top tier was the one that stood out. So it's TT, and that digital collectible is going to look like a credit card or like the Amex Centurion card, but it will be the top tier stay winning card.
Okay, so if someone sees this type of an advertisement or content and they're thinking, what's the deliverable? What's the purpose, or what am I going to get out of this by spending $15?
You'll be first in everything else I do. So, a lot of times to invest the way I invest, you need to be an accredited investor. A lot of these institutions won't talk to you unless you're a somebody. And to be an accredited investor, you need, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, $2 million in liquid assets. Liquid assets. So one real estate property in California is enough. It's liquid assets, and I think you need to make 300K for at least 2 or 3 years to be considered an accredited investor. And what that does is it opens up doors to alternative investment options that the regular person does not have access to. So yes, it is very easy for the rich to get richer. But what this top tier card will do, it will give you access to be first to anything else that I create on the blockchain. So I'll eventually be creating my own project on the blockchain, which in short, what I can say now is it will lower down the entry level to real estate investing, um, without you having to be an accredited investor and coming up with 100 grand the way I do. You probably need to come up with less than $100 to reap the same benefits that I reap. So that's the power of blockchain technology. It levels out the playing field. But minting this top tier card will not only show support, but you get direct access to me. So my DMs are open. A lot of the coaching that I offer is, like $40 for 30 minutes. This will give you free access to that, private chats room, private streams, private X spaces, where you have access to me and can ask me questions, but always be first in everything else I do. And not only first, but at a discount. So let's say down the line, I, do my project and let's say the entry level is $100, for example. In this case, it would be $85. So that $15 is already a credit that's being applied to anything else that I built on the blockchain. And number two, the power I have now on the Web3 space, unlimited partnerships. So with that comes a lot of free airdrops of tokens, a lot of additional free whitelist spots. So I'm definitely bringing value for just a few $15 to get the ball rolling.
So in the future, if you do a real estate deal and you do it on the blockchain or raise cap, whatever you do on the blockchain, does that mean that instead of calling it real estate, you'll call it digital collectible houses?
No, it'll be much more fun than that. That sounds too boring and it has to be a lot more fun than that. See, because
How do you get it off the SEC's radar if you're talking about real estate?
well, luckily, a lot of Web3 projects, a lot of blockchains have gone to court against the SEC, and they've been kicking the SEC's ass. So that's really, really good. So,
Okay.
so in terms of, yeah, so in terms of the power of this and the ability, eventually these terms are going to be creating more loosely. But the way these court filings and rulings have gone lately, it definitely allows for the power of decentralization, which is something that the big players out there do not like and do not want, but the people like, want, and can benefit from.
So let's say that there's a girl, what is her name? Shelby something, Shelby Sap. She's like a door-to-door salesperson. She's built this nice brand on Instagram. I think over 100,000 followers. She's got her own coaching. And I think I remember her saying something about how she doesn't know much about the crypto space. So this is just a hypothetical question for you. So let's say you have somebody who has a major brand out there and they're doing their thing. They're in their niche, working on their niche. It has nothing to do with Web3, but they want to be able to capitalize on their brand. In theory, could that person come to Stay Winning podcast like, dude, I know you're in this other game. Can you show me how to leverage this to be able to generate more of my following or more revenue for my brand?
And that would be the ideal scenario of someone I can work with. If you're saying that the number one problem to real estate right now is coming out with a down payment, and as I mentioned earlier, it's the toughest market for first-time home buyers, that would be an ideal person that I can work with where we can solve that situation and at the same time provide a huge benefit to the followers. So if they already have a big brand, say on YouTube where it was 100K, right? One of the benefits could be hey, you're going to get 10% of the AdSense revenue from YouTube if you hold this entity, or you're going to get access to exclusive content or exclusive meetups where you can only go to that party if you hold that entity. So someone like that would be an ideal candidate that I would be like, hey, we can work together, we can make money, and we can bring value to a bunch of people and maybe even create another stream of passive income for them while we're doing all this.
Cool. You mentioned we're at the ground floor of Web3. What does that mean? What does that mean in terms of what's possible for somebody that's seeing this vision of what could be possible, putting work in, implementing some of the action items? What's possible if somebody does some of these technologies?
Let me answer that in two parts. So in 1991, you can get Starbucks stock, Microsoft stock, Amazon stock, Apple stock, all for under $1. So if you're Gen X or older, man, the opportunities that you had at 1991 are the same opportunities Gen Z and millennials and anyone else that's interested have right now with blockchain technology. Whether you're talking about Cardano, whether you're talking about VeChain, whether you're talking about XRP, all of those are under $1. And I would compare that opportunity to that Web2 opportunity in 1991. That's in terms of investing potential. But again, none of this is financial advice. Number two, if I want to go get a 6% return on my money right now, I go to the bank and I have to lock in my funds for 6 months or 12 months to get a 6% return. What blockchain technology allows is you can get those same returns without you having to lock your funds. So you can liquidate at any time and still get those same amount of returns and probably even higher. Number two, another great thing is right now to get a loan, right? You need to have a credit score, right? A lot of times, or when I first started out in finance, someone told me, in this world, you're nothing but a number, and that number is your credit score, right? And now that I understand the power of debt, right? The power of leveraging debt, the better you can obtain debt and use it as a tool, the more successful you're going to be financially. And you have Robert Kiyosaki do that. You have Donald Trump do that. We're talking about billionaires here that have used and leveraged debt because they were the best number possible out there. What Web3 allows is you don't have to worry about that. There is no credit score. There is no system that was created in the 70s to tell you how good or worthy you were to borrow money. You can have a digital asset or a digital collectible where a value is attached to it. And you could use that as collateral for a loan. And that loan could be a 3-day loan or it could be a 30-day loan. And you can renew it at that point. So it allows you to multiply yourself online for you to create multiple streams of income, even while you're sleeping. So if you look at the stock market now, it's only open for 5-6 hours a day. By the time Hawaii wakes up, it's almost closed.
Mm-hmm.
By the time California wakes up, it's half gone. I missed the pump, unless I'm up at that time, which I'm trying to take advantage, and no offense, of sleeping in before the kids are here. So, but Web3 is 24/7. The market's going on right now on a Saturday afternoon. You can buy it, you can trade it, you can sell it, you can make money off of it, you can borrow it, you can invest it. It's limitless. And that's how early we are. And it's so exciting. And I'm the only channel that's talking about traditional finance and Web3 finance all in one. That's how early we are. So right now we can follow these big YouTubers. They're going to have a separate channel just for crypto, or just for Web3, just for blockchain. I'm doing it all under one house umbrella because I understand the potential that this brings, not just as a technology base, but the way it can lift people out of poverty.
Yeah. Yeah. Lift people out of poverty. Yeah. That's exactly what the purpose of my channel is. Exactly. And the people that I see on here on the chat, first off, thank you all for spending some time with us. But Rinks Rentals, Paul Rink. He is a part of the 100 Stories of Increasing Income. We're going to be talking about, we've already put it together, but some stuff with Hive Mapper, mapping and getting some crypto coins as a side hustle. We mentioned Inspired Landlord. We'll be talking about copywriting. Hugo, we had you on and talked about some YouTube monetization stuff, but having these stories and having these blueprints to be able to talk about income streams and ways to be able to generate income. I've already had some pretty good feedback with some people on the ground level, people that I've been talking to that aren't on social media, that aren't really accessing these resources. They're in a 9-to-5 retail job, making probably less than $20 an hour, and making an extra $1,000 a month is life-changing for a lot of people. 56% of Americans don't have $1,000 saved. So if you can generate an extra $1,000 of income, it's just an example. The money is great. It's going to help you save money, maybe pay off debt or whatever. But it's a mindset shift. Okay, I can do this. I can take my skills, learn something new, and get results. And those results can be a stepping stone to be able to do the next thing and the next thing, to have the confidence to know that anything is possible if you are thinking on things in the right frequency. And so that's the whole point of the 100 Stories of Increasing Income, is to be able to then take it on the road, to do events, to get in front of people and just continue to talk about this stuff, because increasing income, I think, is the missing link for most people's problems. So many people are stuck cutting and budgeting and limiting beliefs. It just takes one thing. You're just one stream away. One stream away.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned it like that, because, and you probably see my ex post, 9 out of 10 times, the solution to your problem is more money. Whether it's love, whether it's health, and everything else that money can buy, I guarantee you 9 out of 10 times, the answer is always more money. So the fact that Web3 is 24/7, you're sleeping 8 hours a day ideally. That's 1/3 of the day gone. The other 1/3 of the day, you're working. So that leaves you with everything else, having to get ready and commuting and family and obligations. You have less than 5 hours a day to work on your dreams. And realistically, you want to watch TV for half of that.
Because you said last week that you get your 2 or 3 hours a week of watching the show, right?
I really do. I really do watch at least 2 or 3 hours of streaming a week. So, yeah, 9 out of 10 times the answer to any problem is always going to be more money. And I had a great call with BuzzTune, and BuzzTune realized how easy it is to make money online. And I do believe that if you're not making money online by the end of 2025, you're really falling behind. If you're going to be on social media, you might as well be a producer instead of a consumer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's really no point in being on social media. So I saw a comment from BuzzTune that they went and they talked, and I'm sure the talk they had was a very valuable talk, and he spent $89, right? So what about if you could have stayed home, produced it, and made those $89, right? So like if we were to live stream on my channel, for example, it's eligible for tips. We'd probably be $30-$40 in right now, just by chatting.
Yeah. Why did you try testing out the restream to your channel?
No, I didn't want to take the risk of a monetization thing, just because the algorithm will recognize that I'm copying. I don't want to risk it, if that makes sense. Okay. But I will be making short clips out of this, adding text and images, which will throw off the algorithm that I've made this content already.
Original content. Yeah. Because I want to kind of dig back into, okay, so let's say I believe I know that this is a way to be able to succeed, generate revenue in the long term. This is where I want to spend some time. You mentioned X, we're mentioning Web3. So if you were me, and I'll pay you my $30 for your half hour after this, but to give me advice with the things that I'm doing, what type of advice would you give to me to be able to generate more revenue or extra revenue? Just as an example.
And I would say since you have the footprint of social media, is implementing affiliate marketing to it, and it could pay off tremendously. So I recently started doing affiliate marketing, and out of 10 referrals, meaning 10 people clicked on my link and went from beginning to end, I made almost $400, and that was off one video that was 6 minutes long. So even if it took me 30 minutes to make that one video, that video is up there forever.
Mm-hmm.
The great thing about this affiliate marketing program is that as long as they're a customer, every month that they're paying their monthly due, I get a portion of it. So just think about the potential.
What was the product or the example?
It was a business credit card. So again, it's going back to using debt as leverage. And in this world, you're nothing but a number, and that number is your credit score. So it's very similar on the business side.
Mm-hmm.
In order to take your business seriously, you're going to need some type of capital. And your current capital is already tied up with bills and other obligations. So again, we're going back to 9 out of 10 times the answer is more money. A lot of times, you're going to have to wait to either get that microphone, right? You're going to have to wait to get the speed up on your internet. You're going to have to wait to get a new TV, get a new office, get new editing software, get a new Restream subscription. All that is costing money that you thought, hey, it. Now you're realizing, hey, there's a lot more to this than just sitting in front of a camera, right? This Restream, I don't know. I think I went with StreamYard because it was like way cheaper. So you need some type of capital. So it is true. You do got to spend money to make money. But in that video, I say, hey, small businesses have it the hardest right now as far as getting lending. Very similar to the first time home buyer. The
Yeah.
lending to small businesses right now is very, very tough to get. And a lot of times, because of inflation, personal credit has gotten dinged. And I'm sure you've seen that through your mortgage applications.
Yeah, for sure.
Work the average credit score is not as high as what it was 1, 2, 3 years ago, right? So when you're first starting off with uh, business credit, it is as valuable as your personal credit. So if your personal credit is not good, you're most likely not going to be approved for business credit, where it's a credit card or a loan. So this product was actually something I believe in and using myself. So it's like Credit Karma, but for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to provide an affiliate marketing for people where they can take advantage and get the business funding that they need, whether it's for taxes, whether it's for a new microphone, whether it's to just pay their renewal fees on for the state that they're in. So every time or every month that they continue to be a member of this service, I also get a commission off of that. So just that was just off 10 people, almost $400. So off one video, that's a 6 minute video that took me probably 30 minutes to make. So that would be my advice to you as far as what's next, since your foundation for content creating is there through social media and online. It would be implementing a great product like that that fits the people that you provide a service to online, whatever your market is, and saying, hey, I think this product is best for you guys. So you're not just selling anything, you're selling something that complements your brand and something that's actually going to help people out. So that was off 10 signups, almost $400. So just imagine when 100 people sign up and each one of them is paying monthly dues every single time. Like that is just compound money on top of the AdSense revenue that the video is making me that I just made one time. And that's what I love about the internet. You can go and create something once and have you make money perpetually. The fact that people don't grasp the power of that concept to me is very surprising,
Mhm.
especially if you have people that depend on you to put food on the table.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a great example of using, say, YouTube affiliate marketing, which you could also do on Instagram or any other
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah.
How would you? Because you mentioned Web3 never sleeps, right? Like, what are some of the different ways that people are monetizing through Web3?
The Web3 band. I'm glad you brought that up. So if you look at that little pudgy that's on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you purchase that NFT, that gives you access to the community of pudgy penguins and little pudgies. So this pudgy penguin brand is one of the biggest brands on Web3. So when new projects are launching, whether they're NFTs or whether they're coins or tokens, because this brand is so big, in order for their marketing to be effective, they provide the benefit to the pudgy penguin holders and little pudgy holders of airdrops. So that's literally free money that's being printed. And I don't want people to feel guilty about this because the Fed keeps on printing money. You have to get a raise, right? So everything's costing more. You get the raise, now you're in a new tax bracket. Now you got to pay more taxes. It's just a big cycle that they don't want us to break out of. Web3 breaks that. So you hold that little pudgy, it goes up in value. Ethereum goes up in value. The partnerships that it creates, because it's the biggest Web3 brand out there, gives you those free airdrops. You can borrow against this pudgy, like $2,000 right now if I wanted to. And if you have 10 of these, you can sell them and buy a house. Does that answer your question about Web3 or how to make money off Web3?
So
I'm
in
not
that,
sure I got the
in
whole
that
question.
scenario, you purchase something like that, and then over time, it's going to generate value in multiple.
Oh, here's where I was going. I remember now. So to get monetized on X, you need 500 followers minimum,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So once you get this, you get access to the community and you have at least 10,000 other holders out there in the world. They're simply going to follow you because that's your profile picture. So when you look to see how much faster I've outgrown my competition in terms of building a base, I implemented something that I did not, which was an NFT. So every time I will go and get an NFT, 100 new people will follow me simply because they also owned that same NFT.
So that's the strategy. Okay. So people that are listening to this, I mean, this is Stay Winning Pod just throwing out some free nuggets here. Don't even have to pay for the coaching. Just telling them like it is,
Yeah, for sure. So I want to make sure everyone that's tuning into you gets the value that they deserve. Um, I mean it when I say that it's so easy to win out there, that the bar is so low. You just have to understand how money works. And in this case, you have to understand how Web3 works. Once you understand that, the opportunities to make it are much, much better. Like you almost can't fail. You just have to be patient. The only one that could fail is if you're not patient and you give up before you get there.
BuzzTune says heard about one business credit card, 5% on office supplies. People buy Amazon gift cards. At Staples, they get the percent. Not financial advice. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me 20 seconds here.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, and the last thing, staying patient. I mean, that's the thing. Kind of going back to my background, which is real estate,
Hmm.
and I've had some terrible stock trades, day trades, because I'm panic selling or I'm impatient. That's just my personality. I'm very, very impatient. I want things to happen yesterday. But real estate, just buy it, think about it in 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. It's just such a slower game. It's hard to panic sell and let time work for you. I mean, I keep talking about this because when I talk to somebody that's on the younger end of the spectrum, and this example of, okay, you put $10,000 into the stock market, get 10% of a return, cool, it's $1,000 of return. Or you take the 10 grand, go buy a house as a primary residence and get a 3% appreciation on the house, which is going to be a greater return on your dollar. A lot of people will say the first one, okay, I want the 10% on the stocks. But if you do the math, 300,000 at 3%, that's 9 grand. 9 grand versus 1 grand. Which one do you want to take? Cool. Real estate in that scenario may be a better tool. But again, you don't want to be having all your eggs in one basket. You want to be diversified. But that long, slow game, letting time work for you. So that's what I'm equating what you're saying, being patient, right? How would you describe an example? You mentioned something going up in value or Ethereum. Do you have any tangible examples?
Yeah, I do actually. So I'm glad you brought that about time. I think that's the one thing, um, Well, a lot of people always try to talk themselves out of things. One of the ones that I think actually has some kind of leverage is how slow it is to get rich off real estate. Um, so to me, I still think people should go down the real estate route, especially if you're gonna have kids. You want your kids to inherit assets, not debt, not problems. Assets and resources is what you want them to inherit. So even though you may not get rich off real estate in your lifetime, in those 20 to 30 years where your kids are in the college age, they're going to enjoy the shade of the trees that you planted today, metaphorically speaking. But once you're able to build enough capital with real estate investing, um, I would say the richer ones are the flipping, right? So you have examples in your market and how it didn't go well. I have examples in my market and how it did go well. But again, not everyone's going to be in California. Not everyone's going to have those numbers for California. Not everyone's going to understand the market out here. Um, so even though it would take me more capital to flip a property here, I would consider it less of a risk because I understand it versus if I was to go to St. Louis and do it maybe for a third of that price. I would consider it more risky just because I'm not familiar with it. So that would be a way for me at least to get rich off real estate, which is being able to do, those flips. And in 4 years, you multiply from 2 flips to 4 flips. And in 10 years, you're doing 8 flips a year. Each one's making you 30 grand every single time. You know what I mean? That's over $200,000 of just chilling back. um, Now, the other thing is, right, when you have equity in real estate, it's really hard to get your cash out of it when it's so early in the game. So sure, you might have made 9 grand that 1 year in appreciation, maybe even 12 grand in California, for example. But it's going to be very tough to get that out and use it as liquid. There's so much more factors to go into it. Now, Freddie Mac, I think, is working on something where they can get a secondary mortgage that's not a home equity in order to fight and help maintain those 3-4% mortgages that are out there. Man, I think I'm going off a tangent here. Like how to get rich off Web3.
Just keep going. Yeah, keep going.
Oh yeah, so Web3, I do have an example.
Yeah.
So again, and I know I like to use Gen X as an example because I think Gen X was the golden era as far as opportunity. Some of the richest people I know out here in Orange County are Gen X, because back then houses were 150K. Like I said, Amazon, Microsoft was all under $1. Like gas was under $1. Like I just felt there was so much opportunity, and for those that capitalized, congratulations that you guys did. And then 2008, they were like the right age to like just jump in there and being able to multiply that wealth at those 1995 prices. um, so I think what 2001, 2004 was when the gold ETF came into the stock market. I think it was 2004. Um, a gold ETF was introduced to the stock market. If you look at the price of gold since the launch of that ETF, it's like a direct 45 degree, or whichever way. I don't know which way the camera's going this way. A direct 45-degree angle as far as the price of gold going up. So now we have a Bitcoin ETF. And for the first time ever in the history of Bitcoin, it reached a new all-time high before the halving, before the Bitcoin halving. You've never seen that before. Why is that? Because the Bitcoin ETF brought so many eyes and attention to it. Remember, there's only 21 million Bitcoin out there, with only about 19 million of those in circulation. The other ones are just lost forever, so they don't even count.
Lost or just people that are big players have them?
A little bit of both. Some are really lost. They forgot where they put their USB drive back then.
Oh my God.
And some people go to the grave with their passwords. Like even if you inherited the password, someone that inherited the password probably doesn't even know what that password is or how to go about implementing or entering that password. That's why I think it's very important to lay everything out in like your will or your trust or however. You want people to be able to contact the right people so your assets are passed on. Anyways, now we have the Ethereum ETF that's going to be approved and it's going to hit the market later this month. So if you look at Ethereum ETF as like the silver ETF, and again, a 45-degree, you're like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and purchase Ethereum now because the Ethereum ETF is just going to bring so many more eyes into it. So that little penguin that you had on the screen is
Mhm.
tied to the Ethereum. It's backed up by Ethereum, right? Think about like your a dollar being tied up to gold. It's not. It was at one point. Now in US history, it's not. But this little penguin is tied to Ethereum. And we're going to get an Ethereum ETF later on in this market. So if history repeats itself, which it should, and it has, and economists study these patterns, you look at these patterns through the real estate market, you're going to be like, hey, wouldn't it be wise if I hold on to this penguin or if I buy some Ethereum? Because once the Ethereum ETF hits the market, it's like an IPO, if that makes sense. And
Mhm.
we know what happens on IPO day.
All right, we got a financial firefighter out there saying what's up. No, I don't know if I clicked the 1080 button or not. Like, I forget what I did. Oh, it is 1080. It is 1080p. Can you tell a difference out there? Marky Mark. So what you're saying is you buy an NFT like this that's backed on Ethereum. In theory, the correlation will could lead to the values going up even maybe at a higher pace over whatever time frame, year, 2, 5, whatever. In theory.
Yeah, so it's like having a US dollar that's printed at any time or a US dollar that's backed up by the gold standard. That will be the Web 2 world. In the Web 3 world, it's this digital little penguin
Yeah.
pegged to Ethereum. So even if it keeps its ratio of one Ethereum, Ethereum can eventually go from $2,000 to $4,000.
Yeah.
And it's still pegged to one Ethereum, but now that Ethereum is double the price. Now you can sell it, make a profit, or you can borrow against it. It's just how people want to prepare for that.
And
Because the
so
real people with money, the Wall Street people, the old timers, the people that have already made their wealth, they don't need to quote unquote gamble on digital penguins,
yeah.
but they will throw in their money, a certain percent of their portfolio, into a Bitcoin ETF or an Ethereum ETF.
Yeah.
They don't have the time, they don't have the patience, they don't have the need to download a wallet, figure out the passcode, and set it up. They just want to let their guy know, hey, put me 5% down for that.
So we've had, I don't know, a handful of people on this live in the chats. So your um, top tier uh, digital coin, when that comes out, would that be tied to Ethereum? You said
No, that one will be on the Cardano blockchain.
Cardano. Okay.
I do believe Cardano has better technology, and it's more decentralized, which to me speaks more to my brand, even your brand, where it's lifting more people out of poverty, where
Yeah.
you keep the hands of venture capitalists outside that are only looking for their own personal gain. So I do believe Cardano has a better technology. It's definitely faster. It's more decentralized. It's safer. It's never been hacked. It's never stopped. It's been working for over 3,000 days. Um, Unlike Solana, that's backed up by venture capitalists, which you might think is a good thing, but in crypto, it's not.
Mhm.
It turns off at any time. But this one, no one can turn it off. And that's the beauty of it.
So the ability to do an ETF or not ETF, backed by the big guys or not. I mean, it would or can Cardano have an ETF at some point in the future?
Yeah, yeah. And the founder of Cardano, which is the co-founder of Ethereum, has spoken on that ability. We see one coming to the market in the next 5 years. So it's going to take a while. But again, it's a lot slower because there is no VCs behind it. So there's no big pocket people benefiting from it. There's no one that can lobby Congress for it because there's
Yeah.
no one individual party that's benefiting. It's all of America that's benefiting. And if you look at it, it clearly speaks that it has better technology. There are certain municipalities now, counties, cities, even states, looking at being able to vote on the blockchain because they understand it can't be hacked. You can have proof of citizenship. Um, Give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, this is stuff that I just haven't had enough time to dig into personally. This is all new information for me in terms of Web3 and Cardano. I've never even purchased crypto coin or been able to connect to a wallet myself. So it's been, pretty pathetic if you ask me. BuzzTune, what is your investing strategy for crypto? Okay. Yeah, speaking of prices, I know Bitcoin had dropped under $60,000 towards the end of the week. 58,000 now. Ethereum 3,059. Cardano 36 cents. Okay, okay. So BuzzTune, what what's going to be your angle or going to be your focus with your platform on X?
All right, I'm back.
Cool, cool.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, if you're a big brand out there and you haven't really leveraged these technologies and these opportunities, like that's ground level stuff, right? There's all kinds of brands out there that could be doing this that I don't hear about personally. Maybe they're already doing it, but I'm not hearing about it.
Yeah, and I definitely encourage it because, you know, you may vote for a certain individual, YouTube might not like it, and then they're just going to take away your platform.
Right?
Um, Luckily, X is more free speech,
Yeah.
but the opportunities to make money on X aren't there yet, the way you can on YouTube. But if you take your brand, and even if 10% of people follow you, so let's say it's 100,000, right? The individual you mentioned earlier, 10,000 people on Web3, no one could ever shut you down. They're always going to support you.
Yeah.
And the idea for passive income is there. See, every single time someone buys an NFT, there's a royalty that's paid out to the creator.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think, you were talking to me at one point about the idea of taking, I mentioned school as a place to be able to house some of these guides. And you mentioned doing Discord is probably a better avenue, or is Discord considered Web3, or maybe do a different place?
Discord is where most of Web3 hosts their community.
Okay.
So, yeah, a lot of people use Telegram instead. It just depends if you just have a coin that you're building, maybe Telegram could be better. If you have like an NFT project, maybe Discord is better. And the reason for that is not just to be able to house the community, but you want to be able to put them in different places where if there's a switch that goes off on one of the platforms, you still have a base somewhere to keep going and rebuild off of that. And number two, your social media could be hacked. We've seen that before. But if
Mm-hmm.
you have those different avenues where you host your brand, they'll know that the official announcement comes from there and there only.
Cool. Cool. All right, we're going on an hour and 15 minutes. We covered a lot of cool stuff. I was thinking about Japan investing. Okay. So I had just before you got back on, I had just asked BuzzTune what his angle was going to be of posting on X, and so he's responding there.
Yeah, I like that, Buzz, and that's cool. And then, what is your investing strategy for crypto dollar cost averaging? Yeah, for sure, dollar cost averaging. The more you can obtain, I mean, if Cardano right now is at 35 cents and an all time high was at $3 when it had no technology and no smart contracts, I mean, the potential for it going past that now, with more people in the community, with smart contracts, um, and with all these wins going against the SEC, man, that's an easy 10x for sure. So, as I mentioned, it's like buying Amazon, Microsoft, Starbucks, Apple, all under $1 in 1991. That's what XRP, VeChain, and Cardano, maybe even Stellar Luna are all right now.
Yeah, because isn't the energy requirement to operate the chain like exponentially lower than Bitcoin and Ethereum?
For Cardano,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely way lower. So it's more environmentally friendly as far as mining. The fees are way lower, the gas fees, so much more environmentally friendly. You just pay 2 cents to send over $100 versus in Bitcoin or Ethereum. To mint $100 NFT, you got to pay like an $80 fee. So yeah, definitely much better technology, um, and it's just getting started as far as what people are building on it. But eventually, people are going to be able to exchange house titles there, so you can eliminate escrow fees, save yourself some money there. Um, you can, like insurance, right? You can have the digital collectible tied to whatever you're insuring on the blockchain. So, like, if it ever gets stolen or damaged, you can prove, hey, that's mine. People do that with wedding rings, right? And a lot of times when you insure wedding rings, the insurance companies are always like, why are we going to pay you? How do we know it's stolen or whatever? And then you're like, well, someone tried to sell it over here and they couldn't sell it because they didn't have the digital proof of it. And blockchain technology solves that.
Yeah.
So all these jobs, all these stores closing because of looting, right? Like Louis Vuitton bags being looted all the time. You know, blockchain, like VeChain specifically, provides that technology where you can prove, hey, this bag is real, this bag is not, and that saves companies so much more money. And then you're obviously saving jobs because they're not being looted. So as far as my strategy is for crypto, yeah, I definitely dollar cost average into the blockchains. When it comes to meme coins, I definitely find out who's behind the meme coin to make sure it's not a rug pull. And then when it comes to NFTs, I want to see what the IP rights are. So now that little penguin is going to be a cartoon, it's going to be a comic book, it's going to be a plushie toy. And every time that is shown on TV or a plushie toy is sold, there's a royalty that's paid into that. So I'm like, that NFT makes sense to buy because of the passive income potential. So great question, Buster, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Uh, DCA, what does that stand for?
Dollar cost averaging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hamu, Mark, you out there? Cool. So one of the things that I'm working on behind the scenes, there's a gentleman, I won't name his name yet, but he's exited 4 or 5 different businesses, AI technologies, what is one of the things he's working on right now. And I've got a person helping me kind of put together a mastermind with some business owners that are looking to be able to do some exits. And so for me personally, that's just one of the things that I'm working on, trying to be able to do to be able to generate some extra revenue and meet a lot of interesting business owners and connect with some people. So that's just something that I'm working on behind the scenes. It's going to be probably a 3 or 4 month process of, fine tuning the deliverable, identifying the right people we want to be a part of it. Because at the end of the day, someone's going to spend money for a mastermind type event. They need to be able to get something, tangible out of it. And this person, can help these business owners be able to set up their businesses to be able to be structured to be able to exit for whatever multiple. So mortgage right now is activity is pretty low, and that's just the way that it is. And so in my world, I'm just doing what I can with the tools that I have to try to keep things going and make extra revenue when I can. So in your industry, Hugo, on the company that you work for, would you say it's cyclical? How tied to the economy is it? Like what is it seasonality? Is there seasonality in what you do?
The worse the economy is, the more money I make.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm definitely in the right job. Like I'll never have to worry about layoffs. I'm really, really blessed.
Cool. Cool. Um, I mean, I'm kind of at the point where probably we just wrap it up a little bit. One of the things that I'm going to be doing here locally is I've got a few coffee shops that I've been talking to
Nice.
about trying to just provide awareness for the channel, the YouTube Live, my book, income streams, courses that I've got, and just getting people thinking about ways to generate income for themselves and build the awareness here. So um,
Are any of those coffee shops chains or are they just mom and pop?
the ones that I've been talking to are not chains.
Do they have at least like 2 or 3 locations though, or just one?
A couple of them do, yeah, yeah. There are a couple of chains that I just haven't reached out to.
Okay.
I do know a couple of chains, yeah.
Okay. So the reason I ask is because in this ties to my 9 to 5. I may have capital for them. I may have cash for them. That could be sizable. And then if you need a stream of income, obviously you get a commission off of it too.
Okay, okay. So yeah, let's message offline about that.
Yeah, for sure. You know me, just want to help people out. So we can create a win-win-win scenario.
All right, dude. All right, man. Um, it's a Saturday, right? Do you have any other plans for the evening?
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch boxing, man. Starts at 6. Just might get some dinner ready or snacks just to enjoy the fight. Luckily, it's not pay-per-view. It's only on ESPN Plus, so if it's $12, I'll pay the $12 or whatever. But that's my rest of the night. What about you?
Um, Probably gonna go head up with a couple of friends and grab a drink. The previous Saturday, I went and watched one of the MMA fights.
Oh, nice.
I don't know much about these guys. I don't know anything. But I know the main card, like it was over within like a minute. It was just
Oh,
done.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But the 2 fights before that, one of the guys that fought literally got notified like 2 hours, 3 hours before the actual fight began.
Wow. Yeah.
Showed up and literally it was a 2-1. They did 3 rounds and the other guy won 2-1, and it was like a nail biter. This dude just put out and performed like
Whoa.
freaking shelf, and I was like, okay,
Yeah, that's something you want to see again with
Yeah.
the same amount of possible training versus last minute.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And like going back to the main card fight, when they have like the stare downs, they're looking at each other in the middle of the ring, and like it's just because like I don't know who's who, I don't know who's better, but I'm looking at these guys, and the one guy has the calm blank face and just super calm, and the other guy has that blank face, but you can tell he was tense. And I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about these guys, but the guy that's calm is probably gonna win, and he freaking destroyed this guy. So I don't know. It's just interesting to see some of those things. How
Yep.
such a very tense type of a sport, and you're going all out, life or death.
Yeah, man. Cool, calm, collected goes a long way in many fields.
For sure, that's for sure, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Well, thanks again for making time. A lot of great stuff to cut up here and put out there. And I'll be doing this again next weekend, so I'll let you know. You know, you got a busy schedule, so we'll see. But I'm gonna hit you up on the coffee shop stuff, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, man. So, it'd be nice to do it again. And yeah, we'll play it off and I'll let you know my availability. But yeah, thank you for all the questions. I hope your audience finds a lot of value and opportunity in multiple streams of income with the power of Web3. And then we can talk offline and about whether it's someone that has a brand that could branch off to Web3, or whether it's our 9 to 5s in the coffee shop and the capital I might have for them. Just happy to talk offline about anything, my friends. So thank you for the opportunity to bring me on your channel, and hope we can do it again soon.
All right.